Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 20 of the F1 2019 Leclerc Ferrari Road to Glory Career Mode, where today we're here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. And a bit of an apology from me over the last couple of weeks as to why there have been no videos on the channel. I've sort of been trying to sort out stuff behind the scenes, and also a couple of YouTube changes. I've really been trying to, sort of work out the best way to try and tackle them over the next couple of months. But yeah, looking forward to getting back into the Leclerc Road to Glory Career Mode. Really excited to be back on this series. So today we're here for round 20 at the Brazilian Grand Prix. Obviously, if you guys are new around here, make sure you get yourself subscribed so you don't miss out on these final two rounds, because the title fight between myself and Sebastian Vettel is really, really heating up. We've got a 10-point lead as we come into this Grand Prix. So obviously, hopefully... a 15-point lead even, I should say. So obviously, hopefully, as we come into this weekend's Grand Prix, we can try to further extend that margin at the top of the table, but it will certainly be difficult to do so here. Brazil, not a track, or Abu Dhabi for that matter, that I'm particularly strong at from personal experience. So, it's certainly going to be one where Seb can try and mount a bit of a challenge there. There you can see the championship advantage currently as we come into this. But yeah, so obviously 15 points, as I said. I'm really, really excited for this one. It is now just a two-horse race between myself and Sebastian Vettel for the world title. It's guaranteed that Ferrari will be wrapping up both world championships, but it's just a case of who will be taking home the coveted prize of Drivers' World Championship. This has been something that Seb's been trying to achieve with Ferrari since 2015. It's been something that we've sort of just jumped ourselves in and have really, really been able to mount the challenge like we had originally hoped in this season. Yeah, let's get ready then for qualifying once again. Here you can see just sorting out the setup in the background and ready for this race. We're running quite a bit of wing on the whole. We just wanted to be nice and comfortable through the middle sector here. And, certainly this car is very, very strong down the straight, so we don't need to worry all too much about that as well. Obviously, if you guys want this setup, just try it out, see how you think of it overall as well. And then, yeah, hopefully we'll get on into qualifying in just one moment here. So we're ready then for the qualifying session here at the Brazilian Grand Prix, out of the final corner, a very, very iconic part of the Formula 1 calendar. I like to think, that sort of banked uphill run in towards someone here. Obviously, world titles have been decided. Obviously, it seems strange to think before I started watching Formula 1, obviously, I think it was like the second or third round of the season for quite a few years as well. Not a particularly good run through the first couple of corners here, and as we come now down in towards turn 4 here, I'm just going to run a little bit deep on the grass there, completely over-rotate the rear end there, and that is us into the wall for the Brazilian Grand Prix. What a critical time to make a mistake like that. I'm going to put my hands up and admit, I hadn't played F1 in about, well, on PC at least, in about 10 days leading up to this. So, yeah, I probably should have done a little bit of practice, but obviously, as you guys know, on the channel, I don't rewind. If I make a mistake, I make a mistake. So, obviously, hopefully, you guys can understand that as well. But yeah, that was not the ideal way we needed to finish off qualifying there for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We will be starting right down at the rear of the field here. Put a few engine replacements, all things like that. Got basically a completely fresh engine strapped to the rear of this car now, obviously, as we move into the Brazilian Grand Prix. Need every little inch of help that we can try to get here, and obviously, hopefully, this added performance will, give us a little bit extra down the straights. Obviously, the first and third sector around this track, very, very speed-orientated on the whole, and obviously, Sector 2, you sort of zigzag your way around the valley here at the Autodromo it's the Interlagos Jose Carlos patch. I can't quite remember the name off the top of my head. There's a lot of words. All I know is it means between lakes as well here, but obviously based in Sao Paulo, Brazil here. 15 corners make up this Brazilian Grand Prix circuit, a 2.7 mile track as well. I'm really, really excited for this race. Nonetheless, as I said, it is now a two-horse race between myself and Sebastian Vettel, so really, really excited to see how it's going to shape up as we get ready for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We could theoretically wrap it up today. We only need to pull out 10 points over Sebastian, but him starting right towards the front of the field, myself starting right towards the rear, it seems a little bit optimistic. I'll be the first to admit that on the whole here. Mercedes have extended their lead to Red Bull overall, so it looks like they're basically guaranteed to get P2 overall in the Constructors' World Championship. Still a very, very rough season for Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton still yet to win a Grand Prix this year. But as we have a look then, ready on the grid for the Brazilian Grand Prix, Sebastian Vettel on pole there with Lewis Hamilton on P2 alongside him on the front row there. Bottas and Gasly make up the second row of the grid there, with Verstappen and Lance Stroll 5th and 6th there. Hulkenberg and Grosjean make up row 4 with Seitz and Raikkonen rounding out the top 10 there, with Daniel Ricciardo, Danny Kvyat Antonio Giovinazzi, Sergio Perez with some grid penalties there, Alexander Albon, George Russell, Kevin Magnussen, Lando Norris, Robert Kubica, and myself, Charles Leclerc, round out the order here. A lot of penalties as we move into this Brazilian Grand Prix, but obviously we still find ourselves at the rear of the field. Ready then on the grid for the Brazilian Grand Prix. In terms of strategy, we're actually going to try and go for the overcut race here today. You know, one that doesn't tend to work out in real life Formula 1, but obviously, hopefully, today we can try and prove a little bit different here. You know, we have got such a quicker car than most of the guys behind us, and really it is just a case of damage limitation here in today's race here. But on the grid then, ready for the Brazilian Grand Prix. The lights are now coming on. It is 5 lights here for round 20 of the World Championship. It is lights out and away we go. After a very, very poor start there as we get away there. But ultimately, you know, if it means we don't bunch up in towards turn 1 just as badly, the rivals certainly take it. We do get down the inside of Lando Norris and Robert Kubica there as we come through the first couple of corners there. We get around the outside of Kubica there through turn 2. There a huge tail moment there as Robert Kubica actually tries to turn in on me there. So we have to muscle him out to the outside there, and that's us now up into P19 of the Grand Prix there. But yeah, very, very loose moment as we come through the first couple of corners there. You can see the AI just concertina up there, almost 3 wide as they came down towards turn 5 here. You can see everyone here just so bunched up of the start there, and it's absolutely critical that we try and get through as many of these guys as quickly as we can on the opening couple of laps here, up the inside of both Lando Norris and Alexander Albon there, and we do make that move work. And now up into P17 of this race here, all over the back of George Russell as well. So are we going to be able to make anything work? Yes, we do, up the inside of George Russell there, and that's us now up into P16 of this Grand Prix there in the opening stages of the first lap. And as we come in towards the final couple of corners of this lap here, you can see almost pushing, that's Kevin Magnussen there, out through the final corner there, up towards the start-finish line here, all the way climbing up the hill once more here. Hamilton leads the way at the end of lap 1 here. Oh, I'm sure he'd love to try and finally take home a race victory in this season there. But up the inside of Kevin Magnussen we go in towards T1 there, and Antonio Giovinazzi there, really happy with that cheeky little double overtake there as we came up towards turn 1 here. You know, you can just be so brave on the brakes here around this place. And now onto lap 2, you can see we're now up onto the rear of Carlos Sainz. You can see someone's pulled off to the wayside there. We get up the inside of 3 cars there. I think Hulkenberg, sorry, Ricardo even, is going to try and get the move back there. He turns in on me once more though, so we just make a bit of contact, and we do hold on to the position there, and that is us now up into P11 of this Grand Prix. Yeah, not too sure what happened there in that little bit of a kerfuffle there. I think Sergio Perez made a bit of a mistake, ran out wide there. The yellow flags come out very shortly there. We've somehow made the moves work nonetheless there, and that's us now up into P11 of this Grand Prix here. So we are now back up nearly into the points of this race there. Hamilton leads the way still ahead of Sebastian, and that is really critical for me in this Grand Prix. You know, we can't afford to let Seb try and pull out too many points in this race here as we now move on to lap 3 here. Trying to close it to the back of both, that's Raikkonen and Kvyat there. So they actually go side by side down towards turn 4 here, and this is going to give us a golden opportunity to try and get a run as we come back up the hill in through sector 2 here. We're going to get on the inside of Danny Kvyat there, almost running, well, we do run into the back of Kimi Raikkonen there, but we're going to try and look up the inside, but far too far back to really try and make any sort of move work there. And that's us now up into the points here, so every place we now move is obviously going to mean that Sebastian Vettel is just going to be able to take less and less out of my championship lead here. So now the places are really becoming critical there. Raikkonen tries to give me a squeeze as we make the long run up towards turn 1 here, but onto lap 4 now. You see we're now up into P9 of this Grand Prix there, so really going quite alright for myself in the early stage. But the safety car has now been deployed in this Grand Prix here, so I'm not really too sure what that was all about. George Russell out of the Grand Prix here, so once again, yet another race where we've had a safety car. I can't actually think of many this season where we haven't had a safety car on the whole, but this would really throw a spanner in the works for the AI here. As you can see on the timing delta there, you see Hamilton, who's that? Hamilton, Gasly, and also, you know, a couple of other drivers, Raikkonen, Sainz, Grosjean, all would diving into the pit lane here, but you can see people like Seb, Bottas and Verstappen all wouldn't, so it really had thrown a bit of an interesting mix there. With it, the AI would probably shake up this grid quite a lot in the second half of this race, but some of them have decided to pit and commit, you know, to the end of the Grand Prix. Pretty much everyone outside of the top 10 there, but pretty much everyone still inside the top 10 had not opted to make their pit stop just yet here. So you can see we had a really mixed up grid as we come in towards the second third of this Grand Prix here. Hamilton, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Grosjean, Sainz, Raikkonen, Kubica, Perez and Albon all looking to make it to the end of the race, but Vettel, Bottas, Verstappen, Stroll, myself, Kvyat, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Giovinazzi and Norris, all of them trying to stay out and go for as long as possible here. But the green flag now back out in this race. You can see, look at that, Lance Stroll even going to be able to try and get a good run in towards turn 1 here, up the inside of Max Verstappen. He goes here 1 year ago, obviously, Force India and Red Bull were having a bit of incidents going through those first couple of corners whilst trying to lap each other, but what a season it's been for Racing Point Force India here. You can see once again Stroll around the outside of Max Verstappen here. Is he going to be able to try and make it work? They make a little bit of contact there, but unfortunately for the pair of them there, not too much time lost. Not too sure what Jeff's going on about me making the double overtake there, but yeah, we would still hold on to P5, and it would take us all the way to lap 10 before the rest of the field would now dive into the pit lane for their one and only stop here. You can see Hamilton now would move back up effectively into the net lead of this Grand Prix there. Gasly back up into P2 there, and I think it would be Danny Cavier, Romain Grosjean over to a net third place in this race there, so fantastic job by him so far in today's race. But we would try and go out for one extra lap and then pit on to the softer compounded tyres here, and overall this in-lap even I should say, felt really, really good on the whole there as we come now down in towards the pit lane here. So you get the car slowed down nice and tidily here, and this could be absolutely critical in the World Championship. It's going to be intriguing to see where we actually come out in the space of this Grand Prix there. A 2.2 second pit stop, very, very good on the whole there. You can see we now drop down just a little bit further down the order here, as obviously all the guys that had already made their pit stop now file past me as we come in towards turn 1 there. Getting now down back through the pit lane here, obviously a very, very interesting pit lane around this Brazilian Grand Prix circuit there. We see coming out of the pits now, we've actually jumped Sebastian Vettel here, so this has worked out really, really well for myself there. Back up into P11 of this Grand Prix, but more critically ahead of my teammate and championship rival in this race here. So this has actually worked out, yeah, really, really well. And I don't think coming into this race, starting at the back relative to Seb starting on the front row, I don't think any of us would have predicted that by lap 11 we would be ahead of him there, up the inside of Rowan Kubica just a few corners later. We try and get the switchback move there, but quicker car, fresher tyres, nothing he can really do about that one there as we now come down in towards, well, lap 12 now. You see we've got, who's that, Alexander Albon and Bottas having a bit of a ding-dong here. You see we're going to try and get a run on Albon here as we come up the hill. They're just going to get up the inside, don't run into the back of Valtteri Bottas either there, and that is just now back up into P9 of this Grand Prix. So we found ourselves in the first half of this race, every place we were making up was trying to, just give Vettel even, a smaller and smaller advantage here. But now, in the second half of this Grand Prix, every place we are making up is actually further extending my championship lead here at this stage of the race. They're up the inside of Bottas there as he tries to go defensive, a little bit of a scrappy move there. We actually get a warning for a collision there in that one there, but we do now move up into P8 of this Grand Prix. Now, at this stage of the race, we were just trying to do the mental match, working out where we need to be, where Sebastian was, to see if potentially we could wrap up the World Championship here in Brazil. What a place it would be to do it. The adoring Brazilian fans here as we come through turn 1 and turn 2 once more here. We're going to get a really good run on Raikkonen and Hülkenberg here. Raikkonen tries to pull to the inside there. We're already there. We're going to go 3 wide in towards turn 4 there. Hülkenberg and Raikkonen both have to bail out there, and that is now up into P6 of this Brazilian Grand Prix here. And you can see Vettel up to P9 overall here. So what would that be? That'd be 8 points relative to 2 here. It would give us a 21-point lead in the World Championship, but ultimately would not be enough to win the World Championship here today. Obviously, we need the full 25 points to guarantee that we would come through as the World Champion here as we now come on in through the next couple of corners here, getting really, really up close and personal with Carlos Sainz here. Are we going to be able to make any sort of move? We tried to think about going around the outside, but he slams the door shut late on at the exit there. You can see we just get stuck to his rear end there. A huge amount of contact maybe between myself and Carlos Sainz there. We do get the run on the exit of the corner there, and that's just now up into P5 of this Grand Prix here. Onto lap 14 now. You can see we're now all over the back of Romain Grosjean here for P4 of this Grand Prix, and Seb's still down in P8. He's only going to score 4 points from this race, and we're hoping to try and make it 12 now. Yes, we do that. So this would mean if the race were to finish right now, we now have a 23-point lead at the top of the Drivers' World Championship here. So could this potentially be enough here? But we are closing it to the rear of Sergio Perez as well. So are we going to be potentially able to get another 3 points in the back here? Seb, though, sadly moves himself up now into P7 of this Grand Prix here. So he's still making moves as well here, trying to focus on, scoring, just trying to lose out as little as possible in this race to give himself any sort of chance as we go into the final race of the season there. But around the outside of Sergio Perez we go there, a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there. We swoop right around the outside through Jung Sao there, and that's just going to be us up into the podium places once more here. Seb now in P8 still, so that'd be, what, 4 points for him, 15 for us. We would mathematically wrap up the World Championship here, but look at that, Sergio Perez back around the outside as we come towards turn 1 there, but he locks up in towards 1 there. We get back at the inside there, and that would now be us up solid into P3 of this Grand Prix there. Maybe Sergio Perez would be able to get another good run there. Seb now moves himself back up into P7 of this Grand Prix, so it is going on all around the track here. Look at the run Perez has got as we come in towards turn 3 there. That Force India, just an absolute missile down the straight there, but Vettel is getting closer to Sainz and Grosjean, having a bit of a ding-dong there, a little bit of contact between myself and Sergio Perez as he thought about going for a move around the outside through the next couple of corners there. But onto lap 18 we go now of this race, and sadly, you know, the World Championship dream here today would probably not be coming through here. We would still hold on in P3 here, but Seb would now move himself up into P5 of this Grand Prix. That'd be 15 points for myself and obviously 10 for Seb, which would give us a 20-point lead in the World Championship. Still ideal, but obviously we would have loved to try and wrap up the title of the day and really, really enjoy the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix here. But through the final couple of corners of this race here, coming into this one, I was really, really worried. You know, we completely made the mistake in qualifying. The confidence really, really dropped from myself there. But out through the final couple of corners, not only did Seb start from pole and we start at the rear of the field, we still further extend our World Championship lead here. Out of the final corner, Hamilton finally takes home his first race victory of the 2019 season there. Gasly comes through for P2 there. It's going to be P3 at the end of the day there, from right at the rear of the field. They use the strategy masterclass to our advantage there. I'm really, really happy with that one at the end of the day. You can see we would only pull out 5 points over my teammate Sebastian Vettel at the end of the day, which would further extend our lead to 20 at the top of the World Championship, which means as we move into the final round in Abu Dhabi, Seb has to win that race. He absolutely has to. If he doesn't win, it is my world title. If he does win, though, all we need is P7 overall. Though that would obviously give you 6 points, and that means we'd win the world title by just 1 point over my teammates Sebastian and Vettel. So obviously, hopefully, you guys are really, really hyped for the final round of the season. As I said, get yourself subscribed if you're new. You do not want to miss it there. But having a look at the results from the Brazilian Grand Prix, as I said, Lewis Hamilton finally able to take home his first race victory of the season, continues his streak of winning at least one race in every Formula 1 World Championship that he's entered there. Now, what is that? 13 seasons consecutively that he will have won a race there. Pierre Gasly comes through in P2. There was Charles Leclerc P3, Perez in P4. They're a fantastic day out for the Force India man there ahead of Vettel, Grosjean, Bottas, Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz and Lance Stroll there rounds out the point scorers at the end of the day. Then Nico Hülkenberg will come through in P11 there ahead of Raikkonen and Alexander Albon there with Daniel Ricciardo all the way down in P14 at the end of the day. They're obviously further down the order we would find the other McLaren of Lando Norris there, just down there. You see Robert Kubica, Kevin Magnussen, Lando Norris, Giovinazzi and Kvyat round out the finishes there, with George Russell being the only man not to make it through to the end of that race at the end of the day there. But as I said, the championship lead now, 20 points. We only need P7. Seb absolutely has to win next time out in Abu Dhabi. It's going to be for Ferrari duel for the ultimate crown in the world of motorsport. Really, really excited for this final race of the year. You know, this series has been really, really good fun as well. I cannot thank you guys enough for the support. I've got plenty more plans for series I want to do on F1 at 2018, but it's just a case of trying to work out a few things as well. So obviously, this is certainly not going to be the end of these mod career modes just yet. But obviously, if you guys are new around here as well, like I said, get yourself subscribed. And you can see 20 points there, 339 to 319. If you're interested in checking out some other League Racing content, go check out my League Racing channel. There will be a link on the screen in just a moment there. And also my Forza Horizon 4 channel, if you're interested in that, go and check out that one as well there. In the World Championship, though, Hamilton does jump Bottas there. Carlos Sainz jumps Lance Stroll, but nothing too much else to comment on from that one. But thank you all so much for watching. As I said, get yourself subscribed, and I will hopefully see you guys next time for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.